Hello everyone and happy Sabbath. I'd like to read the story of Jesus and the widow, and we can find that in Luke 7:11-17. Now it happened the day after that he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, and a large crowd. And when he came near the gate of the city, behold, a dead man was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and a large crowd from the city was with her. When the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and he said to her, "Do not weep." Then he came and touched the open coffin, and those who carried him stood still. And he said, "Young man, I say to you, arise." So he who was dead sat up, and he began to speak. And he presented him to his mother. Then fear came upon them, and they glorified God, saying, "A great prophet has risen amongst us, and God has visited his people." And this report about him went throughout all of Judea and all the surrounds.
Thank you, Sue. Just imagine there's a large crowd following Jesus and the disciples, and they start to go into the city. They're very, very happy because they're following Jesus. And they come up against another crowd coming the other way. And of course that crowd is mourners, very sad. And Jesus recognizes the widow, the mother of the one who has passed away. And he starts to have compassion on her, because he starts to realize that she's been bereaved twice. Once by losing her husband, and once now losing her son. And you think about it, she hasn't got anyone else now to take care of her. In those days, women didn't work. The husband, the family worked and supplied the needs. Here she comes down the road with her friends for the funeral, and she's got no one to support her. And of course we see Jesus having compassion on her, having much compassion on her. And of course he goes up to the woman, and I've got a few things here I believe that he would say to her. You know, he wants to comfort her. He says, "Don't weep. I want to comfort you. Trust me. I have this in control." And of course he would say that I know what I'm doing. So we see there that Jesus comes up to the coffin and he touches the coffin, and the young man sits up and starts speaking. Wow, everybody would have been shocked. But at the same time, his mother would have been so excited. So we see the story. We see the story of Jesus who has compassion. And he can look into the heart of that woman, knowing that she's destitute and she won't have anyone's support. So we see two miracles in a sense. The first miracle, of course, is the young man comes back from the dead. And secondly, the miracle, I suppose, in her life is that now I've got my son back. Now I feel that I'll have a life to live and not be a pauper or beg on the street. And of course we know that Jesus is control. And it's wonderful to know that we can trust him the same way in our lives. And I like the last part of what Sue was reading. And this report about him went throughout all Judea and all the surrounding regions. They were glorifying God. At first they were a bit fearful, but they realized this is from God. I think it's very important to read some of these stories and realize the compassion, the love Jesus has for us, his children. So keep that in mind when we read Luke. Is it Luke 7:11-17? Thank you, Sue. I would like to take the opportunity now to mention about Mary Rice. As many of you know, that Mary was hit by a car on Wednesday afternoon. And we thank the Lord that she wasn't seriously hurt or killed. But she had some damage. She was crossing the road and the car didn't slow down. She thought she had plenty of time, and it was an older gentleman. He didn't realise, and he knocked her down and he dragged her down the road. We're very thankful. She had some damage to her shoulder, but her leg was the serious part of the injury. Yesterday she had an operation in the late afternoon, evening. I've spoken to her this morning. She is happy. They've put a pin in her leg. She's feeling wonderful. She sends her love to all of you. Thank you for your thoughts and your loving thoughts and your prayers. Yesterday, my phone just kept going all day, and SMS and WhatsApp and so on. So it's wonderful to see people in the church loving each other as, you know, brothers and sisters. And of course, Mary is in the Adelaide church. She's a sister in the Adelaide church, and she does appreciate, and she wanted me to thank everybody. So she's feeling good, and I hope from now onwards she'll recover quickly. Please keep her in your prayers. We love you all, and you may have a wonderful Sabbath. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.